It's now time.
I'm so excited.
Oh no!
I actually love you, but
Oh, it's so wrong.
I gotta go. I got something new. Not as exciting as this. I'll tell you that right now. But
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Survivor Social, the Survivor podcast, where we discuss Survivor with focus on the social elements of the game. My name is Kara, and today I'm here with a familiar face, Shauhin from Survivor 48.
Hi, everybody.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I don't think that I really understood what the theme of the podcast was until you just said it. And I love that. I just was talking about how the social game on Survivor is probably the most nerfed from the edit. I think that the edit actually removes a lot of what social players do out there, and you have to kind of read between the lines to really understand what the social people are doing on Survivor. So I love this. It's awesome.
Yeah. And it's such an important part of the game that I feel like, especially in this season, I think will come into play maybe at the end. I don't know. But how are you feeling overall about this season?
I think it's, it's got an elephant in the room the entire time of season 50 kind of looming large over the season. And I think, it'll be interesting to see how people who don't know what's like, people who aren't even fans of Survivor right now, right? When they're going to go sit down and binge a bunch of seasons, it'll be interesting to see how they feel about season 49, maybe not knowing about season 50, or maybe they knew about season 50, but they don't really know what the lore is or who's going to be on it or whatever. Because I think that the elephant in the room is hard for a lot of people to watch the season and just enjoy it. It's hard for them to enjoy the episode where it's like, it's going to be Sophie or Savannah. Which one is it going to be? When you're like, I think it's going to be Sophie because Savannah's on 50, right?
Yeah.
And so that, for a lot of people, I think is something that makes them bummed out about the episodes. Whereas I think for me, as someone who watched a bunch of seasons that were spoiled when I was like learning about Survivor and I was obsessed with Survivor during the Panini, I think for me, I started to understand there's value in watching Survivor, even though it's spoiled, especially if you're someone who wants to play, because then you really get to watch from the perspective of, how did this person make this happen? How did this person get to the end? Look at these mistakes they made or perceived mistakes, and yet still they're able to survive. And that's what Survivor's, I think, really all about. And so, I think this season will both gain in retrospect with people who are watching it and don't know that Rizzo and Savannah are coming back for 50. But I also think, for a season that has this thing looming over it, we have a pretty good season overall. It's tough. It's a tough spot to be in, and then it really depends on how much you hate having a disaster tribe. And the problem with having a disaster tribe is you have 4 people who go home in the first, 5 episodes. And of those 4 people on the same tribe, those are the only people we get to know, right? We only get to know people who go to tribal. And so we're left with Alex and Sophie. And I think Sophie's, pretty entertaining. I think Alex had a pretty sparse number of confessionals even before he went home. And that makes it difficult for the audience to really engage in Survivor because they don't have these people to root for because they just aren't getting the screen time, and the screen time is going to people who then are immediately sent home. And that makes it hard to have an amazing season. But I think what it lacked in the front half, it's certainly making up for in the back half. That episode last night was pretty amazing.
It was crazy. Do you think the edit for this season is kind of favoring the 50 people and kind of foreshadowing that a little bit? Or do you think this would have been the edit no matter what? No matter if 50 didn't even exist?
There's no way that the edit isn't adjusted a little bit for Savannah and Rizzo. They want to show why these people are going to be back on 50, and not for nothing, but because if they loved them that much to bring them back, I don't know, whatever it was, 9-10 days later, then they probably really enjoyed them, and they probably would have gotten a great edit anyway, So, yeah. I mean, it's got to have been adjusted a little bit. Who knows? But I would imagine.
Yeah. I mean, do you think the players are doing more because Jeff is mentioning 50?
For sure. Yeah, 48 same thing. Players were doing more because Jeff was mentioning 50. It certainly was in the back of my mind when I was out there. I was much more focused on winning the $1 million this time than I was on getting on 50. I think that's probably the best tactic to win, is to not play like you're trying to come back, but play like you're trying to win right now. But yeah, I mean, of course. Oh, did I just go black for some reason? Anyway,
No.
Of course, I think that people are going to, play it up a little bit.
Yeah. So it's also kind of fitting that you're here talking with me today, because you were also a 6th placer.
Yep.
So
Brutal.
what is it like watching now someone also go out in that same spot as you? Is it weird?
Poor Steven. I got to meet Steven this past weekend. I don't know if you did too, but I'm sure you did, right, at the Over the Edge Celebrity Weekend, which was an awesome event, by the way. If you're a reality fan or if you're a reality star and you're listening to this, definitely sign up and go to the OTE Celebrity Weekend. It's basically like a reality conference, I would say, more than it is like whatever. It's like a reality conference with a focus on raising money for charity. There's, dance parties, and there's signings, and then there's panels, and it's there's like a day away. It's like a very, very fun event, and you get to meet all of your favorite, celebrities, from Big Brother to Amazing Race and Survivor, and Squid Games, and there was, I don't know, the Snake. I've never heard of the Snake, but I heard about it this week. And I met the winner of the Snake, which was cool. I know.
It's a lot.
He looks like a cult leader. He looks like he should be leading cults. Anyway,
that's why he won.
Yeah, probably. An amazing weekend, and I got to meet Steven, and he gave me 6th boot vibes.
I was gonna say, did you know? Did he?
I
tell
didn't
you?
know. I was not spoiled. He did not spoil it for me. I did not ask him. I wish that he would have, so I could have consoled him a little bit as a fellow 6th placer. But no, I mean, he was in a position to win the game. That's kind of how you need to play. It's not like he made moves too early. He just is super likable and fun to be around, and people wanted to work with him. Said some cringy things last night at Tribal, which we can get into. But yeah, I mean, I think that he had the right idea. He just couldn't really get any traction going against Rizzo because Rizzo was feigning the idol. And then voting out Steven is juicier than voting out Sophie, especially after Sophie wastes her advantage. That's nail in the coffin. That's game over for Steven. If Sophie had played the advantage correctly, taken Rizzo's idol, that creates a much higher threat level for Sophie. And maybe then, she would have to play the idol right then and there in order to survive the Tribal. But Sophie felt pretty confident that it was going to be Steven going into Tribal, it sounds like. And so, doesn't need to do that, ends up trying to steal Steven's advantage, and gets kind of blindsided by an interesting game mechanic in Steven having to play it before going to Tribal, which I do think is lame. Like, in a way, I think it's lame to have an advantage that's played before you go to Tribal, like in a confessional, as opposed to him having to stand up and be like, I'm blocking Savannah's vote at Tribal. But it did make for an excellent moment where, we have Sophie in front doing this big monologue about to steal Steven's, thing. And we have Steven behind her smiling like the fucking Cheshire cat, ready to be, the no, like ready to just be like, nope. And so we have a wonderful final moment from Steven there where he gets to basically bury Sophie's game. I think Sophie has a really tough time coming back from that, because remember, the jury doesn't get to see all the moves that Sophie's been making out there on the island. They only get to see what happens at Tribal. And that's a memorable moment at Tribal, one where you missed big time, and one where Rizzo has an idol in his pocket. You could have just taken that. You have the entire jury for sure going back and talking about, even with Steven, why didn't she just take Rizzo's idol? And I don't know if we want to get into the social player of the game right now, but
we'll get to it. Don't spoil.
Okay.
Don't spoil.
Okay, all right.
We'll get to it.
She said, wait a second. Let's tease it. Calm down. Don't move so fast.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, let's just get into it. We'll start at the beginning now.
Okay.
So, wait, before we get into it, I want to bring up the Survivor Now drafts because you are currently leading by like a pretty decent margin.
Yeah. The Sophie strategy worked out.
It did. So you could potentially win it all. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know how the points work. So
Me either.
Who's in second? Who's close?
So in second is Phil.
Mm-hmm.
He has 365 points, and you have 428.
Okay.
And he has Savannah. So who knows?
That's a good shot for him.
We don't know what happens.
We don't know what happens, but that's a good shot for him. Savannah's in a really good position to either go home in fifth or win the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think Savannah has a tough shot here because she certainly would have gone home yesterday if she didn't win immunity. But now she has Rizzo and Sophie still in the game, and it's very possible that they just stick together. Those three just stick together. They seem to be pretty tight so far. And I mean Sophie's definitely the swing vote here, right? That she could go with Sage and Christina, and that kind of is her only win path. I don't know that does she know that she can't win against Rizzo and Savannah, or does she think that she can beat them potentially? Or does she care?
I mean, after last night, maybe she doesn't care, but I don't know. Well, I have thoughts on this. We'll get to it when we get a little later on.
Okay.
But as a reminder, we are live right now. If you're watching, send in any questions, comments. We'll get to them throughout the episode. Yeah. But so let's talk about the beginning of the episode. Yeah. Beginning, Steven is talking about.
They're both talking about unanimous votes.
Yes.
Crazy.
There was a lot of foreshadowing, I feel like, in this episode with like that. They're like, this will never happen again. You know, another Steven being like, oh no, another Hina went. Just kidding. Like she had to go.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, so then I guess basically like the next most important thing is they immediately go to the reward challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a Mexican feast reward, a night at the sanctuary, letters from home. What did you think about this reward?
Let's back up for just 1 second to the confessionals, the foreshadowing that we see here. And let me say this, like everyone came together for the last 2 votes.
Yeah.
Right? Those were unanimous votes essentially. And to me, that means that Sophie and Steven were both the obvious threats, the people that like were going to be very hard to beat. That's kind of the only way you can get a unanimous vote at this late in the game, right? And so kind of interesting that they foreshadow, oh, we're not going to have another unanimous vote, and then it ends up being a unanimous vote. Kind of fascinating that that's where their head was before, and then that's where their head goes. And then we get to this, reward challenge. And I think my favorite part of the reward challenge is the fact that there is a giant post. It's about 15 feet in front of them. And Christina managed to throw a sandbag behind her. She managed to throw it literally the opposite direction. And that's, I think, impressive. I think the most impressive thing that's happened in that reward challenge.
It was. And you know what? She was real for that because that sandbag is probably heavy. That pole is really high. I feel like I'd probably be pulling a Christina too. How do you think you would do?
You know what? I love this season for sure. Love these players. They're great, but I would smoke them at that challenge and most of the challenges that they've had so far. I think that these leg challenges, I think that I had a direct effect. Okay. I'd like to think that Kerhofer listened to me. I'm sure that he didn't, but I would like to think, that, okay. That now we have, 2 leg challenges in this season already. And maybe another one coming up soon. I think that, watching these challenges it's one of those things where when you're on your couch, like, I could do that. But then when you're there and you're tired and you're hungry and you haven't slept, and it's a whole different ballgame. Being able to focus out there is so difficult. If you watch the season, you watch me taking gigantic deep breaths to like recenter myself and refocus myself all the time throughout the whole entire process, and still didn't manage to win a fucking immunity. So can't talk a whole lot of smack. I do think that winning this reward challenge is a bad thing to win.
Mhm.
I think it sets you up for failure if you don't win then the immunity challenge. Unless you're very much so on the bottom. If you're already kind of near the top and you win this kind of puts you over the edge because it's such a target builder. Getting loved ones letters from home is so valuable. And I think the audience kind of doesn't understand why it's so valuable sometimes. But your loved ones letters mean that you get to talk about your loved ones on national television. Like you really get to talk about what it is they provided you. And, we see Rizzo talking about his family. We see, Sophie talking about her family and her grandma. And you don't get to do that. Sage and Steven and Christina don't get to do that ever on Survivor. And being able to do that and give that back to your people, being able to do that and give that to the people that have sacrificed everything for you to go out there. Rizzo's dad is working 3 jobs to this day. Like that's so hard for people to really comprehend sometimes. And to be able to talk about his dad, his brother with autism, looking up to him and having that moment, that means so much to people. And for Savannah to provide that for people, that's a huge moment. And that creates a huge target. And Savannah winning the, immunity challenge certainly helped her out.
So with Savannah, she picks Rizzo and Sophie. I feel like that was kind of obvious. Do you think she made the right decision? I feel like if any of the other, like Steven, Christina, or Sage won, it would have been the 3 of them.
100% made the right call there. And you can see it in Sophie's decision making. That Christina actually clocks it on the beach. She goes, Sophie was ready to make a move. And I'm afraid that this is going to make Sophie back off of making a move. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
She fell in love with Rizzo and Savannah. She watched Rizzo read these loved ones letters from home. She has her belly full and her heart full. And she has instructions from Nana, but those instructions weren't specific. You know what I mean? They were go live. And Sophie can still say, this is living, right?
Yeah.
And she's still doing the thing. And it's like, why do I want to destroy this ally of mine this early? Maybe I can wait and destroy him at 5 and 4. Or maybe I don't need to do all that. Maybe that's doing too much. It's a really weird line to walk, but absolutely Savannah made the right choice in bringing Sophie, because if she didn't, if the opposite happens, Sophie goes back to the beach with Steven and Sage and Christina goes on the reward, absolutely Sage and Steven are convincing her to get rid of Rizzo or Savannah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, they didn't even take you to your reward. Bye. Like, say goodbye to them. You're clearly at the bottom of that 3. They're not taking you, blah, 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 blah. They're just in her ear. And instead she had an afternoon with Savannah and Rizzo.
This was kind of the worst thing that could happen for Sophie's game at this point.
Yeah, totally.
Getting chosen for this.
Absolutely. Yeah, well done, Savannah.
Yeah. But at this reward is when Sophie tells Savannah and Rizzo that she has the knowledge is power.
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking.
Did you think it was necessary for her to do that?
No, why? She didn't need to do that. She doesn't need their help for using it. She knows where the advantages are. The only thing that could happen to her is for it to get ruined. I don't understand why. I mean, I understand why she did it. She did it because she's sitting at the sanctuary, and these people just treated her to a wonderful meal, and they, gassed her up, and they gave her loved ones letters, and they're having this beautiful moment, and she wants to share. It's so nice to share with your people out there. And she kept it secret for so long, and she kind of wants to brag about how she's kept it a secret to her 2 people that she respects a ton, whose game she loves. And
and you know what? Like, her telling them, Rizzo could have gotten a little spooked and maybe passed the idol to Savannah, and then who knows? Yeah. He doesn't know. Maybe she is going to play it on him. Who knows? But
I mean, when Rizzo stands up to go play it, that's like, it's heartbreaking. Definitely heartbreaking.
That was
for Sophie, at least.
Yeah.
But I think Sophie has a pretty good attitude about it all. So I wonder what's going on there. Maybe it's not as heartbreaking as we think it is. Maybe it's a genius move. Who knows?
Maybe. On the
here's the deal. If she steals that idol, it's very possible that they flip the fucking tribal on her. She stands up and says, "Hey, Rizzo, give me your idol." And Rizzo gives her the idol and then turns around and is like, "We're voting Sophie."
Why would they do that over Rizzo?
She just stole an idol at Tribal in front of everyone. That makes her a pretty big target.
That's true. But then
And
she
Rizzo,
play it.
look, not for nothing. I love the guy, and in a way, it's genius what he's been doing. But I don't think that the people out there think he's a threat, because I don't think that they think he can convince a jury like that he was in charge. I don't think that they think the jury is going to give him agency in the game, and that's the name of Survivor. The name of the game is, did you exercise your will? Was it your move, or were you going along? And if you're going along, the only way you're going to win is if you had mad social game. And Rizzo doesn't. You can see it when the jury reacts to what he says, when the jury reacts to his antics. They're not reacting impressed. They're laughing at him. And if that's by design by Rizzo and he can articulate that at Final Tribal Council, he wins in like a Marianne fashion in a way, right? He wins in a way that's like very impressive because he really gets to flip the script at Final Tribal. But he's going to have an epic Final Tribal, and I think it's possible for him. I think he gets the game. I think this isn't his first rodeo. He's definitely played. That guy strikes me as a guy who's played a ton of LRGs and ORGs, and he's practiced, and he knows what's up. He knows the game. He understands what's going on. So I'm not saying it's outside of his possibility. I'm saying it's well within his wheelhouse. But the other people out there don't think that it is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that makes sense.
Tough position.
It is. I mean, she would have to play it at that moment, and then he would go. But
what's
maybe
what's
he wouldn't.
really wild is
Maybe
apparently
Steven would still go.
I saw that she asked Christina about the advantage that Steven had, and Christina just didn't understand that a block of vote has to be played before they go to Tribal. She didn't get that. And so if Sophie gets the tea that the block of vote was already played, does she must play it on Rizzo. She's then forced to play it on Rizzo because that's the only advantage that she knows about that's left in the game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
I mean,
that, like,
do you think
no
if
one
she knew
spilled
that?
beans? Can she do that? What do you mean?
Well, like, do you think she would have taken Rizzo's idol had she have known?
If she knew that Steven's sitting behind her with nothing, I don't think that she sits there and doesn't do anything about it. If Rizzo finds out that Steven has nothing, I wonder what Rizzo does with his idol.
I think he has to pass it to Savannah.
I think you're probably right.
Actually, no. Well,
I think you're probably right. Because it's not like Savannah's going to play it. Savannah's not going to play it. She has an immunity necklace.
Exactly. And, like, I doubt she would play it for Sophie.
No, but if I was Savannah and someone handed me an idol at 5 or at 6, I'm keeping it and playing it at 5. And you can kick rocks. I don't care.
That's so savage.
Yeah.
I guess that's Survivor.
That's Survivor.
But on the flip side, while Sophie is telling them about hers, Steven is telling Christina and Sage about his block of vote. Do you think this was necessary?
No.
No,
it wasn't. In fact, it could. I mean, it ended up working out, but it could have backfired big time.
Did
because
it?
What if Christina? I mean, it kind of did, right? Like he got to use it, but if Christina or Sage turn around and tell Sophie, Rizzo, or Savannah in order to curry favor with them, then they know he's using a block of vote before the votes are cast, and then Sophie's left only stealing Rizzo's idol. So how does that affect the game? Sorry, that's a lot of moving parts. I mean, that actually might have helped Steven in a way get rid of Rizzo. So maybe.
I don't know. I kind of feel like the outcome wouldn't have changed. Because
I mean, think about it like this. If Steven just walks up to everybody and is like, hey, just so you know, I'm blocking Savannah's vote and there's nothing you can do about it, because there is nothing you can do about it, right? He's playing it before he goes to Tribal. He's like, hey, you're getting blocked and we're voting Sophie out. So Rizzo, why don't you play your idol on yourself? Or if you want to play your idol for somebody else, like you can play your idol for someone else. You can play it for Sophie, but we're voting Sophie out. You can vote for her and save your idol if you want, or if it expires at 6, so be it. And then if Sophie, who's already told Rizzo and Savannah about her block of vote, decides, okay, well then I'm going to try and steal Rizzo's idol, either she steals Rizzo's idol and they vote Rizzo out, or she tries to steal Rizzo's idol, Savannah has the idol, and they still vote Rizzo out.
Mm-hmm.
Only way that backfires is Savannah decides to play the idol for Rizzo after Sophie tries to steal it from Rizzo, which is a lot there.
Can you
a
do
lot
that?
of what if
Oh, right,
magic
after she
happened.
because he wouldn't have it. Well, actually, you know what? I feel like you're right. Like, what does he have to lose in telling everyone that he's blocking a vote?
Nothing. The element of surprise at Tribal.
Yeah, I guess it just helped Rizzo out.
Yeah.
With his idol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
What could have been?
What could have been? The woulda, coulda, shoulda game is dangerous on Survivor, by the way. Like, it's definitely one of those things that, like, as a former player, I played very little woulda, coulda, shoulda after my season was over. Like,
I was gonna say, is there one thing like you think, like you stay up at night thinking about that you wish you did differently?
no, I sleep like a fucking baby. Like, I don't play that game. I do my breath work and I go right to bed and I get 8 hours. And I recognize the context of my experience is that I got to go play Survivor. Steven, if you're listening, if you're watching this, my friend, you played an incredible game. You did a wonderful job. You made excellent television. You're super well liked. There's only so much you can do. And in this game, a little bit of luck goes a long way. And, you know, you didn't get super lucky in the game. So good job.
Yeah.
You fucking crushed. And you can't play the woulda, coulda, shoulda. This shit will torture you for years. I've seen it. I've seen Survivor players that are to this day tortured by what happened to them. And don't do it. Don't participate.
I feel like for Steven, I feel like his problem was not having reliable allies.
Yeah.
And that's not his fault. Like,
yes, it is. It's all your fault at the end of the day.
How? Oh, yeah,
I feel like you have to take accountability and responsibility for your game. And, you know, he sees he sees the writing on the wall with Christina.
Well, he knows. Oh, that was another foreshadowing moment.
Yeah, Christina tells him straight up, like, you're on block, you know?
Yeah.
And I think his reaction there was probably a little less violent, not violent, but excited than it should have been. Like, he should have been like, wait a second, you just Freudian slipped. Like, I need to make moves. Like, I need to go really build up this Rizzo character and tell people he's about to run away with this game, because all they need to do is get rid of Savannah, and Rizzo's the second biggest threat. I'm not the second biggest threat. The problem for Sophie, Christina, and Sage is that they don't care which of the three goes in what order, just that they all three go. So for Sophie, Sage, and for Christina, I think they know they need to get rid of all three of those people.
Yeah.
And so for them, it's still a fine move to get rid of Steven. And if everyone's on board, sometimes it's better to not rock the boat. The only problem is without rocking the boat, you're also not adding anything to your resume. Everybody gets to claim that move.
Yeah.
This is the problem that I was running into as well.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't want to rock the boat. If I think I'm winning, why am I going to go and make a big move? If it's going to end up being attributed to me, and then I'm going to go home next. I don't want to do that. It doesn't make any sense.
I get that. And I feel like that's like kind of what a lot of people say about Kyle, and where I'm like, he didn't have to make these big moves to win, to get to the end or whatever, because he was doing what he had to do. If you're looking at the game, like, why would he
the
do
game
something
is not
crazy?
big moves. That's not the game. The
No,
game is get to
it's
the end
survive.
get to the end first and have played a game that you believe can be a winning game at Final Tribal Council.
Yeah.
And a lot of fans want big moves because they want something juicy to watch on television, which respect, I get it, I understand. But when you're out there as a player, you should be playing to win the game. You should be playing to have enough on your resume to be able to represent yourself at Final Tribal Council. And at the end of the day, if you think there's no one on the beach that can beat you at Final Tribal Council, then you need to stop doing so much.
Yeah.
If you keep doing a lot, you're a bad player of the game, because now you're just raising your threat profile. I felt like I had done enough, pretty early. I felt like my social game was so strong out there that people wanted to give me $1 million. And the people that I sent to the jury, they weren't mad at me. They loved me. They wanted to give me $1 million, or at least I felt like that. Whether that was accurate or not can be anybody's guess, but I felt like that. And that's certainly what they told me when I got to Ponderosa. So with that in mind, okay, once I feel like that, and I think I have an accurate read on things, you can only read things so much when you're out there, then
Right.
don't be doing big, dumb things. Don't get rid of your number one ally if you can beat your number one ally at Final Tribal Council. Bad
Yeah.
move. And
Yeah.
I think some people get big move-itis. They think that they need to do the big move. They need the resume. They need this. They need that. Calm down. Calm down.
Yeah.
Play a
You don't always have to do
play a
that.
great game of Survivor, and sometimes that requires a little bit of control.
Yeah. Sometimes being subtle is the way to go. So, kind
Not
of
my
off.
strong suit normally.
No.
Being subtle.
If you were on this season, what side do you think you would have worked with? Rizzo, Savannah, and Sophie, or Steven, Christina, and Sage?
I think Steven, Christina, Sage are more like. Wow, that's a tough question. Probably Savannah, Rizzo, and Sophie, because I think Steven and I have a lot in common, and I feel like there would be only enough room for one of us, if that makes sense, in an alliance. Like he and I have some similarities. Going home in sixth is not the only place that we finish our similarities. We're both very excitable, very passionate. We're both, like he has good hair. He had a cute sweater out there. I had a cute sweater out there. I think we have some fun things in common for sure. And I think that the cast out there kind of thinks Savannah or thinks Rizzo can't win. They have a misread on Rizzo, or they're basing their read on what they think the jury thinks of Rizzo and Sophie. And I think that part of the reason they're lasting as long as they are is while they are making big moves, they don't look like they're making big moves. While they are controlling the votes, they don't look like they're controlling the votes. And that's a huge part of the game. And I think that if I was working with them, I think that I could try and steal credit for those moves at the end if I was sitting next to them. I think Steven it's a harder argument to say that you made the moves and Steven was just a part of them. I think Steven presents like he is going to have made the moves. I think Sage presents like she was part of the moves in a way that maybe Rizzo and Sophie don't. But I think Savannah presents like she was the one in charge of the moves. Which is why I think she has such a high chance of, good winner equity.
Yeah, which is funny though, because like in like pre-tribal, like in the episode, it is more like Rizzo, the one we see strategizing, coming up with the plan, and then he's the one who's doing it.
Totally.
So,
but remember, that's what we're seeing as an audience. That's not what the fucking jury is seeing.
Right.
And this confuses the crap out of audience member after audience member. The jury does not get to watch the show. Yeah. It was the weirdest part of being out there was recognizing, wait a second, you can lie at Final Tribal.
Yeah.
Like the only people to fact check you are the two people sitting next to you. And certainly they can fact check you on the other. So it's a risk, right? But like if you feel like you can advocate that you're the one that made the moves and that you're going to get away with that, then that makes a different ball game. Like that's a different thing. And if you feel like these people that are, going with you, the people that are going to go with you to Final Tribal, they're not going to be thought of as having made the moves. They're not going to be thought of as the brains behind the operation. Well, then you might want to take them.
So do you think like Rizzo should go with Savannah and Sophie, or should he go with someone else? Or
I would think, because if I'm in Rizzo's mind, I think he thinks he is the best player out there.
Yeah.
I don't think that he thinks Savannah is a better player than him. I don't think. Because I think, like in his mind, he's the one that's been doing all of the stuff.
Yeah.
He's a smart enough player, I would assume, that he's thinking about what the jury thinks of him. And so I'm hoping he has the understanding that the jury might not really respect the cinema and all of the Gen Z terminology.
Yeah.
They might hate that. And so he might have a little bit of work to do at Final Tribal Council to really be winning $1 million in the title of Sole Survivor.
I think he has. I mean, at least if I was on the jury and I was experiencing like these past few tribals, I feel like he would have a lot of explaining to do.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
But
he did manage to use an idol like 5 times. That's a pretty amazing feat, is
Oh,
to continue
yeah.
to fake using an idol and to continue to fool people. And
That's the
Sage gave
problem.
him a gift of, wait, can you use that at 5? She said that out loud at Tribal, and that's a gift
Yeah.
to Rizzo, because Rizzo gets to be like, yes, I can, and that's a huge move for Rizzo. So
That
there you
yeah.
have it.
So immunity challenge.
Mhm.
This challenge looked like a fun one. This is one where I was like, okay, actually, I think I could do this.
Yeah.
Where the reward, when I was like, I don't know if I could do that. This one,
Yeah.
though, kind of looked easy. I don't know. Probably not. What did you think?
I mean,
Easy
you
for
tell
you.
me. You stand up, put your leg up as high as you can, and see how long you can hold it for. Like
Like,
35 minutes is no joke. I've tried this type of challenge, and I got to like 26-ish minutes before it felt like my hip was just on fire and gonna fall off. So, I mean, not easy. Not an
do you
easy
think
challenge.
height comes into play? Do you think it's harder for taller people
I think,
versus shorter people?
Mobility comes into play here, maybe more than height. I don't think it's necessarily harder or easier for a taller player or a shorter player. I think it's difficult for people who lack that hip mobility. But if you can't stand there with your knee basically up against your chest, it's going to be hard for you to hold that position.
Yeah. So you
But
think
like,
you could
I
do
was
it?
surprised. Like, you might be surprised when you're out there what actually muscle is being used. It might not be the muscle that you think. Like with the ganglion cyst thing that the reward challenge that I won,
Mhm.
it was a lot of wrist pain, but I thought it would be a lot of strength. Like I thought
Right.
that challenge was going to require a lot of strength. Kyle and Joe both have way more arm strength than I do. Eva has way more arm strength than I do relative to her body. And so maybe even just relative to my body, like she's jacked, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that challenge really wasn't about strength. That challenge just ended up being about pain management. Like
Yeah.
you're just in a gargantuan amount of pain. I don't think it's a strength. That was a strength challenge. So this one, I think it's probably mobility, but I'm not sure. I'd be interested to ask Savannah or Sage or any of the people that did the challenge what was hurting.
Yeah. Savannah doesn't look like she was hurting at all. Like it looks
No,
easy
she could have
for
gone
her.
an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems very clear she could have gone and been fine.
She was sturdy up there.
And meanwhile, Sage is praying to every single person that she knows, and Savannah just, you got this, and that was it. It's interesting, like that moment. I wrote a note about that moment, something along the lines of like, let me pull it up here. Sage is sitting there and being like, you got this far. And Savannah says, this is mine.
Mhm.
You got this far indicates you're going to lose. This is mine indicates you're going to win. And look, at some point, your body is your body, but mentality matters. And the mentality there for Savannah was not, oh, congratulations, you've made it this far. The mentality was, this is mine. I am owed this, and I'm going to go get it. Kind of an interesting moment there between the two of them.
Yeah. And even Sage kind of like bargaining with Savannah,
Totally.
I thought was fun. Like,
yeah. And Savannah just being like, no, and giving her a soft no, right? Like letting her have almost a little bit of hope. But I don't know if you caught it. There was a micro expression on Savannah's face, like the second time that Sage asked, and she kind of gave like the give me a break, but then didn't just blow her off, right? Didn't just be like, kick rocks, like leave me alone. I'm trying to win a challenge. Like, yeah, no, I mean, I just pull it out. Like, it's great.
She was being encouraging while saying, no, I'm still going to win.
Crazy that nobody congratulated Savannah on winning the challenge. That was fucking wild. I can't believe
that was crazy.
That was crazy. Everybody consoling Sage, nobody so much as saying congrats to Savannah was insane. That should tell Savannah everything she needs to know about where she's at in the tribe. She should be very concerned. That is.
I feel like she has to know.
Huh?
I'm sure she knows.
For sure, after that, she knows. That's bad, in a way, bad gameplay. They're not cherrying Savannah up at all to make her think that she's part of the group. They're saying, you are on the bottom. We want you gone. And we are bummed that you are not going home today.
It would have been interesting if Sage did win. It would have made this even more interesting, I think.
Savannah goes home.
do you think Rizzo would idol her?
No.
Hmm.
I think he might fake it, but I don't think he's going to play. I'm voting for Savannah if I'm there. I don't care. Play
Yeah.
it. So be it. Go for it. Like,
Sure.
I'm not going to tell you I'm voting for Savannah, but maybe I'll tell you I'm voting for someone else. But Savannah's got to go.
Oh yeah.
Challenge threat,
think-
like, definitely has had a lot of agency throughout the game. Like, has killer instinct. She's not going to be anything scared at Final Tribal Council. That's for sure. Like, she's not scared of nobody. And I think people will give her agency in the game. I think the jury, like, maybe doesn't want her to win, but they'll definitely give her agency in the game.
Which is crazy because there are times she hasn't won and she's still here. So.
And what did Sage say? Sage said, "This is my karma. I had an opportunity to go get Savannah. Instead, I took the road towards revenge, and it cost me. It cost me the reward. It cost me Steven going home, and it might cost her the game. It might cost Sage the game."
Yeah. Do you think Rizzo is throwing challenges?
No.
Okay.
Where did that come from? Is that he?
No, that's just me wondering. Maybe he's throwing because he has an
No,
idol.
I think he's trash at challenges. I don't think he's throwing.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing a guy who loves the game that much doesn't want to have Jeff put an immunity necklace on his neck.
That's a good point.
I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, he's probably not. But you never know. Maybe maybe he'll say it at Final Tribal. Like, I was throwing, I didn't need this. I didn't need to be a bigger threat. So after that, Savannah wins. Sage tells Christina she wants to target Steven. Christina is saying how she doesn't want to go against Steven. Like, we need him. He's the only one that can beat Savannah.
And then she tells him that she wants to vote him.
Yeah.
What is going on?
It didn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
And
it's not a move that Christina can pull off. They're like, hey, I was talking about everybody and you came up. That's not a move that Christina can pull off. I am surprised that Steven was not more worried about that. That surprises me.
I mean, I feel like it makes sense. Well, maybe not make sense, but I feel like in his mind, it makes no sense for Christina and Sage to go against him.
Why? He's a bigger threat to win than they are, and they need to sit next to Sophie and each other.
Yeah, but...
And Rizzo has an idol that he's played, and Savannah's safe. Like, Steven should be... I'm sure he was worried going into that final trial. I can't imagine he was blindsided.
I feel like he was.
Yeah, I mean, that's worrisome to me because you think, right? Because you couldn't organize the votes against Rizzo, which means you think he's playing his idol.
Yeah,
Savannah
Rizzo wasn't even
has
an
an
option.
immunity. And then you're going to flip the votes on Sophie? Sophie's going to be the thing that they're worried about? They're not worried about Sophie. Sage and Christina are not worried about Sophie beating them at Final Tribal Council. They're their win condition. So maybe he was blindsided. Maybe he didn't see how good they would be, but surprising.
Yeah, that does make sense. But, Steven says in his confessional, he's blocking Savannah's vote. Do you think blocking Savannah's vote was the right choice?
Doesn't matter who he blocks, right? They all voted for him.
Yeah.
Made no difference. It's a bummer. It's a bummer that didn't actually really come into play for them, right? That if he would have convinced them to vote for Sophie, like Sage and Christina, then it would have been a huge move for him. But again, it's a huge move for him. Actually, one of the things that I wrote was, if you're going to tell them about the block a vote, you need to make them the people that are making the move with the block a vote. You go, hey, I have a block a vote. I don't know what to do with it. So that they feel like they have agency in it instead of him coming to them with the move, which is, hey, I'm going to play the block a vote. We're going to survive. Well, whose move is that? That's Steven's move. That's not Sage's move. That's not Christina's move. That's not adding to their resume. That's putting yet another thing on top of all of the things that you've already done, dude. And now you have more clout. I don't want that person going and sitting next to me at Final Tribal Council. And he's super likable. Like, that's not good. That buries him. And that's one of those moments where your allies are your enemies and you don't even see it.
Yeah.
You don't see it.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And then we hear a lot of Sophie talking about in her confessional that she's considering taking Rizzo's idol, how like it's what her grandma would have wanted. There was a lot of build up to her
Brutal.
potentially taking his idol.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel like going into it she was going to do that or no?
No.
Too
After
much build up.
after the reward, it felt like she was in Savannah and Rizzo's pocket. It feels like they really made. I mean, you hear her say, "Isn't it crazy? We're going to be friends for life after this," or something to that effect, right? And I'm sure they're still friends. Maybe they are. I would assume, but that is, if there are $1 million mistakes, and the game's not over yet. There's a 2-hour finale. There's a lot of game to be played here, right? It's not over. There's a lot that could happen. If Sophie manages to get out Rizzo and Snow's Savannah and get out Savannah, like Sophie has a good chance of winning this game. Like, she can make fire against them. If she makes fire against them and beats them, like, okay, now we're talking about some real win equity all of a sudden back in the Sophie corner. But for sure, her win equity is the lowest it's been all season, I think, right now.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because she started out so strong, like
and has been strong. Yeah,
she has.
Yeah, crazy. One day, that's how it takes.
Yeah. So we get to tribal. The jury is very reactive, I feel like, during this tribal with what's going on. They say that the side that comes out of this vote will be the side that decides the rest of the game, which, interesting with how it played out. Did you find anything else like in this pre-advantage part? Like, did anything stick out to you?
Yeah, I mean, the vote at 6 is so interesting because you don't want a deadlock that late in the game. You're not looking to draw rocks. If you're on the bottom, you just want one of the people that's in the top 3 to go home. That's all you care about, or all you should care about, right? This idea that, like, Steven could compete against Savannah for immunity goes out the window when you know that Rizzo's playing an idol. And if you think he's the next in line to beat you, then you just play and you get rid of Steven.
So, okay. So she goes to play her knowledge is power. She plays it on Steven. He's like, I don't have anything, whatever. In this moment, like, did you think this was like a fumble for her?
The biggest fumble of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing that on Steven's the biggest. The knowledge is power is such a dangerous advantage, and especially when you hold on to it for that long. And if they knew everything about that knowledge is power advantage, and she held on to it for that long, and then finally told people at the 11th hour, right before, if they knew all of the details, I think it would be an even bigger blunder. She's lucky that they don't get to see everything that happened. It was a bigger blunder than even they saw at Final Tribal Council. But happening at Final Tribal Council, that's just such a memorable moment. Like Steven's Cheshire grin, and then he gets voted out, so he gets to go and talk to the jury right away about this whole moment and about how, man, can you believe it? Rizzo still has an idol, and now she lost her knowledge is power. Like, that's not a good look for Sophie right now.
Yeah, and it is a point for Savannah and Rizzo to make maybe at Final Tribal, like, that they knew she had the knowledge is power, and she still didn't take his idol. I feel like that's a positive to Rizzo.
So can we get to the social player of the game?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet.
We still have more to talk about.
Okay. What else we got?
So the knowledge is power thing. So do you think it would have been better if she just didn't play it at all?
Better than playing it wrongly? Yeah, for sure.
You think it would have been more impressive for her to go to Final Tribal and say, I had this the whole time, I didn't use it?
I don't know how persuasive that is at Final Tribal, if I'm being honest. Like, I don't think that really persuades anybody. Like, but I didn't even need to use it. Like, I think who did that? DK Chillin did that. I don't know if you remember DK, but DK was at Final Tribal Council and tried to play that. Like, look at all this stuff, and I didn't even need it. Wasn't particularly persuasive, right? Like, not particularly moving there. So. Yeah, I don't think it's particularly persuasive. But it's better than it would have been better than, playing it wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she didn't know she was going to play it wrong. But
right. Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah. So whatever. They go to vote, they come back. we see Rizzo say in his like little voting confessional, like he has to play the idol on Sophie.
Mhm.
He goes up, he does his little thing, whatever. He's like, sorry, I'm not playing it, whatever.
Mhm.
In this moment, did you think Sophie was going to go home?
No.
No.
I thought Sophie was safe. Like, after watching Sage and Christina break down the idea of getting rid of Steven and like, we can't sit next to him. Like, when your two allies say they can't sit next to you, you're in the most dangerous spot.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the most dangerous spot. That's a bad spot for you to be. Because now your allies are voting against you, and they don't want to vote with you. And especially with Rizzo hanging this idol, like because it's just not a great spot to be in for Steven. Poor Steven.
Do you think Rizzo and Sophie knew what was happening at that moment? Like, do you think he was just risking it by not playing it? Or do you think she thought she was going home?
I wonder if Sophie, I don't know. I wonder if Sophie thought she was going home. I don't think that she did. I think that she thought she was going to get votes, but I don't think that she thought she was going to go home, because I think Christina and Sage did a good enough job of convincing Sophie that they were voting Steven.
Yeah.
Because they were voting Steven. But you can't trust anybody out there, but I think they trusted that.
Yeah. It is so, like, I don't know. The whole, like, him saying he was going to play it in his confessional, like, why even say that, you know?
Him saying that he's going to play
the idol.
Oh,
like when he's going to vote. Like when he went to vote.
Oh, why say that? I mean, I think he did it to get a temperature check. I think he walks up there to get a temperature check, and when he looks back and sees
No. When he was in the voting booth, he says, I'm gonna have to play it.
I'm gonna have to play it. Right. And then when he sits down, he goes, okay, let me go play it. And he looks back and he gets a temperature check, like, I don't think these motherfuckers voted me out, so I'm not playing it. And pretty ballsy. I mean, dude, to have an idol that many times and to still not play it, pretty risky for sure. The fact that they believe that this idol expired at 6 should give them
is crazy.
Crazy. That's just bad gameplay.
Yeah, because when does an idol ever expire at 5?
It doesn't.
I mean,
it never
6.
has. It doesn't. It never has.
No.
The only thing that expires at 6 or 7, I think 7, the safety without power expires at 7.
Yeah.
But 6 is crazy work that they convinced him of that.
Hypothetically, Sophie does go. Rizzo doesn't play the idol on her. Do you think she's bitter or upset that happened? No.
I don't think she strikes me as a bitter player. I think that she'd be bummed, but I don't think that this doesn't strike me as a bitter player. Jawan seems like the most bitter of the players that are out there.
Well, this is what I want to talk about.
Flexing from the jury and shit. Could you imagine?
Who would do that?
Yeah, not me.
So I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
About the performances that go on at Tribal that specifically Rizzo is doing. And he did it during the Jawan vote with the fake idol. And he kind of did it again last night with his idol. If you were there and someone was doing this and you're the person that goes home, how would this make you feel?
Like all the carrying on? Remember when Sugar made Randy play a fake idol and like rubbed it in his face? Right? It's not a good move for Sugar.
No.
Didn't end up working out for her, right? But I think that we're in a different spot. And I think that we're looking for flair. And if you're someone who's going to vote for flair, then you love this stuff. So it really depends on what this jury wants. Does this jury vote for flair? I don't know. I don't know how much they care about it. I don't know.
I just feel like it's unnecessary.
It is unnecessary. That flair is always unnecessary, right? It's not my way, but it's fun as fuck to watch when you're at Tribal. Like, at least they're putting on a show, you know? So I could see it being I could see it being entertaining. I don't know if it's great gameplay, but it is entertaining, and that matters. That sticks out in people's minds. People are going to remember Rizzo walking to the front a bunch of times, Rizzo playing a fake one,
Yeah.
Rizzo like doing all of these antics. Antics are memorable.
But is it what the jury wants to vote for? Someone who knows what's going to happen, but is doing this just for fun?
I would. I like when people have fun. Like, I like
Yeah.
when people have a good time. I know you're playing a game for $1 million, but let's have some fun. I like that. So
And
for me, I would be into it. I'd be, I would, it would be endearing for me, but I don't know about this jury. I don't know if this jury finds it endearing, or do they find it annoying and frustrating?
yeah, I mean, this one maybe was like a little less like extra compared to the Jawan one. Like if I was Jawan and that happened, I would be like, well, I didn't like that. That was just so unnecessary. Everything that just went down.
I do think Jawan has a pretty good attitude overall. He seemed to really love the game. So I do think there's something about getting sent out with some flair. I'd rather get sent out with some flair than with nothing.
And everyone that's been going out
Yeah.
has a pretty good attitude going out. They're like, oh, you got me. How do you
What
feel
else are
about
you supposed to do? Like,
Be upset.
it'd be,
They got me.
yeah, but like, give me a fucking break. This show's been on for how long now? Like, do you know what I mean? I think that some people want us to be upset because they want us to be hurt. And I get that. We are hurt. We are upset when we get voted out. I was hurt. I was upset when I got voted out. But I've watched the seasons. Like, I've watched this game. I understand what the likelihood is. And I also was trying to vote them out. Like, I was trying to vote other people out, and they got me. And so it's like, it feels unevolved to get super upset with getting voted out of a game where the point is to vote people out and to lie to them. It seems disingenuous. It seems like contrived, and it hurts. I mean, I got voted out by my best friends, but people that I felt like I'd known for a decade, by people who I called my brother. I swore on my mother's life that I was voting for Mitch. I swore on my mother's life, and they voted me out anyway. And that's the game. That's what happens out there.
Yeah.
So you just go, all right, well, I played an awesome game. I'm very happy that I got to come out here and 26,000 people apply, 18 people get to play. How can you be that upset? You just can't be that upset unless you have a bad frame, unless you're improperly prepared for going out there. Reality TV, I've talked to some people that were on the old seasons of reality TV, and they were devastated for years, like years and years and years. And some of them still, you can tell, like, this stuff really still hurts. Like, it really does. And people that are going out there now, they've done their due diligence, and that's good that they're not coming back completely destroyed. Most of them, right? They are, like, some of them are still completely destroyed if they had bad frameworks for it. And also, if that's you, if you're someone who went out on a reality television program and you came back and you're completely destroyed, you should shoot me a DM. Let me help you frame this experience properly so that you can actually enjoy what you accomplished and what you've done. Because it's a really difficult thing to get cast on any of these shows, any of these programs. You have to be special, and you are special for sure. You've done something that thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people dream of, and thousands of people applied for, and you were selected. And that should be enough. Most people would kill just to be on the program, even if you told them they were going to go home in 18th. They would still do it. I would have done it. Even if you told me I was going to go home in 18th, I would have still signed up and gone and seen everything and got to play in 2 challenges and spent 3 nights on the beach and all of that. So, so I don't know. What do I think about people going home and having a good exit? Give me a break. Like, you know what you're signing up for. So be happy with that.
So after talking with you, I feel like my mind has changed about this episode a little bit and the Steven thing. Because before I was like, well, this is so silly that Christina and Sage would vote out Steven when it's their person. They would go into the next one having the numbers. They can get one of them out next time. But now I see what you're saying, where,
And also,
Steven's
not
a
for
threat.
nothing, who's Steven going to vote for?
One of them. No, exactly.
Right.
They want him on the jury. Well,
They want him
are
on the
they
jury.
actually? Is he?
I think so. He worked with them.
He could be hurt by this.
Whatever, they all voted for him. He's going to be hurt by what? Like, I think that
point.
they have a much more likely opportunity at getting his vote than getting Sophie's. Sophie's definitely not voting for them. Sophie's voting for Rizzo and Savannah if they get her out with the block of vote. You know what I mean? If they use Steven's block of vote to get her out, she's 100% voting for Rizzo and Savannah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, who you put on the jury.
Yeah, it matters a ton. The reason I voted Star out. I only voted Star out because I thought that she was a pocket vote for me on the jury. I thought for sure she would vote for me on the jury, and she told me she would when we were out there.
Yeah.
She was like, if you're at the end, I'm voting for you. All right, sweet. Well, I guess you're gonna have to go be on the jury. I don't know what to tell
You
you.
have to be on the jury.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Mhm.
So we get to the end. Steven's voted out. That's the end of the episode. Any final thoughts on the episode before we go to commercial?
Oh, waka, no maka. That's my final thought.
Perfect segue to the commercial.
Thanks.
But I need to find it first.
Oh,
I wasn't prepared. Okay, ready?
Nope. That's okay.
No.
Do you have what it takes to outwit, outplay, and outlast? Katie does. Since 2015, she's been handcrafting Survivor treasures for superfans just like you. Hidden immunity idols, she's got them from one world to the Philippines. Every piece is designed and created by Katie herself. Check this out. Katie's brand new tribe emblem coin, a collectible inspired by Survivor All-Stars, a must-have for any superfan. Keychains, oh yeah. Ride along with Keith's legendary Tuk Tuk or try your luck with the Do or Die twist. What is that, the most famous stick in Survivor history? Yes, that stick. Katie doesn't stop at idols. Oh no, she's even bringing in international flavor with an Australian Survivor cookie idol twist. Idol nullifier, safe or not safe, she's got them too. How about something you can actually wear to tribal? Katie's Survivor earrings are hot right now. Want your idols on the go? How about keychains? Take your tribe with you everywhere. And don't forget Katie's most famous Survivor product, Survivor trading cards. Fans love them, and so do the players. With over 500 cards and full stats on the back, you can collect your favorites from every season, including the full jury from Survivor 48. Katie Tedesco Art is the Survivor super fan shop, made by a fan for the fans since 2015. Check it out now on Etsy.com and follow her on Instagram at Katie Tedesco Art.
All right, it is time for social hour where we get into any questions that were sent in. If you have any questions still, send them in. We will answer them. We have a few already. First, is Shauhin winning the draft? You can find that out on our Instagram at Survivor Now Podcast tomorrow when I post the image. Next, can Sage and Christina count this as a move? Would it count as a greater move for their resumes if they voted Sophie or Rizzo?
I mean, I definitely think Sage and Christina can count this as a move. It really depends on how they sell it at Final Tribal. Like, it really depends on, who's sitting next to them at Final Tribal and how much agency they can kind of claim over something like this. But if they vote out Sophie or Rizzo, that is for sure Steven's move because he played the block of vote that made it happen.
Do you think Sage and Christina have any win equity at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Christina
sure.
has no votes against her.
Christina's never had a vote against her. She's super likable. Does she have a ton of win equity? No. But does she have a win path? Yeah. She has to make some good moves, maybe win an immunity, and like use that power really well in order to get Rizzo and Savannah out, and then make a good case at Final Tribal Council. And Sage kind of has the same road. They made kind of a fool of Sophie here, or Sophie made a fool of herself.
Yeah.
So their win condition is getting rid of Rizzo and Savannah, and that absolutely could happen at 4-5.
Yeah, I could see it. And I mean, the other thing is that people on the jury like them more than they potentially like Savannah or Rizzo. So that's always a positive.
Totally.
Let's see. Shauhin, if you played with Kyle again, would you vote him out straight away?
Yes. Bye, Kyle. They're never going to put me on an island again with Kyle. That's for sure.
You never know.
No, not happening.
Who do you think is the final three? What are your predictions?
Oh, man. I don't think I think it's tough to think about a world where Christina's not in the final three. I think that's tough. to imagine a scenario where Christina's not in the final 3, based on the edit that she's been getting right now. She seems like a goat.
Yeah.
God, Rizzo, Savannah, Christina. Kind of interesting. Sophie gets voted out, or Sophie loses fire, maybe. I could see Sage going out at 5. Like I could see them figuring out a way to vote Sage out at 5. Savannah or Rizzo wins. Savannah or Rizzo plays the idol. No one's voting for Sophie, and so, yeah.
Do you think if Savannah doesn't win immunity, they just vote her out? Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think is that Savannah, like maybe the only way that she doesn't go home is if she wins, she loses immunity, doesn't go home because Rizzo plays the idol for her because Rizzo won immunity.
Right.
That's kind of the only thing I can think of. Or if Savannah can convince Sophie and Rizzo to stay tight to her and she loses immunity and they just vote for Sage or Christina, that'd be amazing. That'd be so amazing.
Do you think Rizzo would want to flip on Savannah and go with like the girls? Do you think he's thinking about it?
They've been so tight. I don't think he said anything about voting for her.
No.
That would be quite the little flip. But I think he has it. I think he has it in him. I think it's possible.
He has to be thinking about it, right? Like,
I love that kid, man. He's so endearing, and I did not like him when he started, and I fucking love that kid now.
He's great TV.
I would go to war for him,
but he is,
and his family. Like, such a cool story. I wept. I was definitely crying yesterday. Like, yeah,
it was
really
such a good moment.
Totally.
Okay, next. Shauhin, were you surprised Rizzo was allowed to ask Sophie and Savannah if their vote was blocked?
That they were allowed?
Mm-hmm.
You're allowed to ask. I don't see why you wouldn't be allowed to ask. Yeah, I wasn't surprised by that. That seemed fine. That didn't seem bothersome to me. Did that bother people? Did that bother you, Sarah?
It didn't bother me.
Okay.
I thought it was smart.
Yeah.
I think it was helping him make his decision about the idol.
Get the tea. Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Here's this one. Who do you think made the biggest blunder of the tribal council?
Oh, I mean, that's for sure. I mean, that's obvious. So Sophie made the biggest blunder of that tribal council for sure, by far.
Yeah.
You know, didn't cost her going home, but definitely a huge blunder.
And then, I mean, I feel like we kind of like touched on this a little bit. We'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. What do you think the jury's What do you think of the jury's reaction?
I think the interesting thing is the rest of the people playing, are they watching the jury? Because sometimes you get caught and you're watching the thing that's happening and you're not watching the jury. And I remember specifically one of the things that you learn in law school is watch the jury. Like look at the jury. Mm-hmm. Stop looking at what's happening. Look at the reaction so that you understand how you need to argue. And I wonder if they were watching, because that's very important to do, to watch the jury's reaction to someone doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, do you think Rizzo lost jury votes at this point for his cocky idol taunting?
No, I think it flows with his personality. I don't think that it costs him anything for him to continue to be his like big gregarious self, because it's not something that's unaligned with who he is. And it's friendly cockiness. It's not a rude cockiness. If I did the same thing, people would fucking hate me. But he has a different vibe. He has the ability to kind of pull that off in a way that's lovable, I think.
Yeah.
I think they're laughing at him a little bit. But I also think it's endearing. I think he's done it in an endearing way. I think he's young enough to pull that type of bravado off in a way that wouldn't be appealing on somebody else. So he knows himself pretty well.
Yeah, and that's how I kind of feel like at Final Tribal. I feel like he can get away with doing things like that because they'll be like, oh, it's just Rizzo. That's just how he is. Like, if he wasn't doing that, it would have been weird, you know?
Knowing what you can get away with is so important on the game of Survivor. Knowing what other people are going to think about you, how they're going to feel about you, all that shit is so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like he can get away with it. Whereas Savannah, I feel like she's coming off a little maybe people don't like her as much, where like, do you think people would be as lenient with her as they would be with Rizzo?
No, Rizzo can get away with a lot more and still be likable. Savannah has to rock a tightrope. The unfortunate thing is how competent Savannah is and how well-spoken she is not a benefit to her in a lot of ways. It's a detriment because she comes across as super clean. She comes across as super prepared. And when others aren't, they get jealous and angry with something like that, especially when it's on a woman, especially when it's on an attractive woman, especially when it's on an attractive young woman. There's a tightrope that she has to walk in order to both acknowledge the, elephants in the room and at the same time advocate for herself and not be afraid to advocate for herself and tell the fucking story. But yeah, definitely. She's working a tough spot. The benefit that Savannah has is when you're in that spot, and I was kind of in this spot in a way where you are super well-spoken, you do present with a ton of competence. If you make it to the end, people are like, well, like you made it to the end. A person like you should never be at the end of the game of Survivor. You should have gotten voted out. And so your level of difficulty to get to the end was so high by virtue of being here, you win. And I do think that Savannah has that personality type where it's like, yo, she's hungry. She's a badass. She's been doing nothing but trying to win. And that honest approach in a way that yeah, she's going to lie. Like there's no doubt that she's going to lie. There's no doubt that she's going to cheat. There's no doubt that she's going to steal. She's a known commodity in that way, in a way that others are not expected to lie, cheat, and steal. And so when they do, it hurts a lot more. When Savannah does it, it's expected. And now she gets to stand on business and say, I kicked your asses and you knew I would kick your asses. And I talked about kicking your asses and I present as super competent and yet you still couldn't figure out a way to vote me out. Almost a la Rachel Lamont, right? That like hyper competent, super badass, amazing challenge threat. And there was nothing they could do to get rid of her. And that means you win the game.
Yeah. And it gives her more room to play and like do things like that where like, I don't know, I just feel like she can be straight up with people and be like, what are you doing? Like when she was talking to Christina, she was like, who are you voting? Where if Christina did that, like that would be weird. Like she couldn't do that in the same way that Savannah could. And like, I think that's probably why
I couldn't do it in the way that Savannah could. That was amazing.
A lot of people probably couldn't do that.
Amazing. Brave gameplay too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's like she can do that. And it's not like a crazy thing for her to be so straightforward, which gets her the results she wants in the end. And she wins when she needs to. Well, she wins when she needs to.
She needs to. You're right.
Yeah.
She won when she needed to. That's a huge benefit.
Yeah.
Not easy. I did not win when I needed to.
No. But we'll see. At this point, if Rizzo and Savannah were to go out back to back now, do you think them being on 50 is justified? Like, could you see why?
Yeah, for sure. They've made excellent television. They're fun to root for and against. They have great confessionals. They're good strategists. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you think before this episode?
Probably. If they went home this episode, I'd be a little surprised.
Oh, okay.
Like if they would have went home in the 6th spot and they got invited back for 50, I would have been surprised. For sure.
Too far back, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's all the questions we have. So now it's time to get to the part of the episode that you've been waiting for. Are you ready? Wait for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. All right, it's time for the Social Butterfly Award. This award goes to the person that we believe did the best socially in just this episode. Okay. So I know you have someone lined up.
It's Rizzo. It's obvious it's Rizzo. Are you kidding? He played an amazing social game. He made Sophie fall in love with him enough and love him at the reward enough where she didn't want to take his idol. That is on social game and social game alone. I think that I can't imagine that Sophie didn't understand the strategic implication. She just didn't want to stab him in the face. And that's on his social game, on his ability to make her feel loved and heard and respected and all of that stuff. Like she was part of something bigger than herself, like it was going to last longer than it is out there. And I think that is the big takeaway from the episode is Rizzo is the social player of the episode, and he's been playing a really interesting and dynamic social game by making some people think that he's not that smart, by making others understand his strategy, but also making them feel like they were part of creating the strategy. And yeah, everybody loves Rizzo. It's so awesome. It's like not everybody, right? But yeah, like this is the social player of the game for sure, of the episode for sure. I mean, I think you could make an argument for Savannah, but the implication for Rizzo was much higher. That the ability to save the idol for one more tribal and all of it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think in this episode, yes, he did great. I think even overall, he's playing just a really good social game. I know we're just talking about this episode, but like we see him in this episode, like talking with Steven and like, you know, going up to people and like you said, like with the idol and Sophie, and she had no reason not to take that idol, but he worked some magic. Then I was going to mention Savannah because I think her taking Sophie to the reward was huge.
Yes,
for her.
A good assist from Savannah there for Rizzo.
But overall, Rizzo, social butterfly of the week. All right. Any final thoughts?
Did I ever win social butterfly?
I would have to go back and look. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I feel like you did. I'll go back and look.
Okay. Final thoughts. I'm excited to see what happens in the season finale, you know? Excited to see what happens in the season finale. It's gonna be fun. Yeah,
it's gonna be a good one. Thank you so much, Shauhin, for coming on and talking with me and talking with all of us. Your insight was fantastic.
You got it.
So where can the people find you? Anything exciting coming up?
Yeah, you can go to my website, ShauhinDavari.com. I help people upgrade their communication. And if you upgrade your communication, you upgrade your life. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. If you can figure out how to tell your story, how to tell it from a perspective that's healed, and how to tell it in a way that makes people listen to you, things just get better for you. Whether you're interviewing for a new job or whether you're stagnated in your current job, whether you want to explore new opportunities, whether you want to just get better at talking to people, whether you want to just get more comfortable being able to articulate your thoughts in a way that people are going to listen to you. If you get talked over and you want that to stop, the person that will help you get there. I've been doing it for over a decade and I love this shit. I love finding people that need to find their voice, helping them heal that voice, and then helping them use that voice in a way that gets people to really listen. You know, it's been a passion of mine for the last 15 years, and getting to do it on a much larger scale as a result of Survivor has been one of the coolest parts of this whole thing. I have, clients that have been, everything from a CEO of a solar company to someone who's working in, cybersecurity that wants to present at conferences. I've booked people with TED Talks, and I've also helped Mitch and Rachel, helped Mitch Garab with his speeches and Rachel Lamont with her keynote speeches as well. And we've had a great time and really, really enjoy doing this work. I have a new cohort that's starting in late January, early February. And if you're interested in that, please shoot me an email. You can find my email on my website at ShauhinDavari.com. There are limited spots available. I don't take everybody. It's very important to me that they're the right type of clients that are working on something that I can get passionate about as well.
That's amazing. You think I should sign up? How did I do tonight?
You did great. You did wonderful. And this is one of those things where even if you're an expert in communication, you can always upgrade your communication. You can always get better and get more confident and never have to worry again that you don't know what you're going to say or you don't know how you're going to lead a meeting or whatever. It's not just for people who don't know how to communicate. It's for people who want to upgrade their ability to communicate. And whether that's interpersonally with other people or intrapersonally, your communication with yourself. And that's kind of the foundational difference of what I do versus what a lot of other public speaking coaches or communication coaches do, a lot of what I do starts at the foundational level with how do you talk to yourself? You hear me talk a lot about framing experiences on here, and the ability to frame your experiences allows you to tell your experiences in a better way. I see people come home from vacation and they're talking about how they got stalled in the airport for 2 hours instead of driving at the story that is important to their vacation, the amazing moment they had swimming with dolphins and the look that was on their child's face when they finally got to meet Mickey Mouse. And instead they're driving like, oh, the traffic was so bad on the 405. And this is an example that happens in our lives all the time. When you are sitting in front of someone, you're going to get maybe 3-4 minutes of their time to tell them a story. Do you know what stories you're going to tell them? And do you know how you're going to tell that story? And do you know the structure for telling that story in a way that's going to get them involved, get them engaged, keep them engaged, and be memorable for them forever? If you don't, you're leaving things on the table. You're leaving opportunities to let them slip away from you. And if you want those opportunities to never slip away from you ever again, that's where I come in. That's where I help. That's the thing that I know how to do, I think, better than anybody, and in a more fun way. I have a blast with my clients. It's so fun, and public speaking and communication can be such a terrifying thing for people. And when you break it down and make it simple, make it repeatable, then it becomes a blast. Sorry, I get ranty when it comes to the thing that I love, and I love this shit. I love helping people with their communication. It's definitely what I was meant to do.
Yeah, and we were all locked in during that. I was locked in. I didn't miss a word. And the chat was loving it. They're taking notes.
Yeah,
loved it. Fire.
Cool. Oh, love. Yeah. It's so important, man, to work on your ability to communicate. And again, I start with how you communicate with yourself, your intrapersonal communication. Are you journaling? Are you doing meditation? Are you doing breath work? Are you doing the things that's going to help you unpack all of the things that you need to unpack so that you can really creatively and passionately tell your story? And so if you're not doing that stuff, start doing it. That stuff helps so much. It's the reason I got on Survivor. Like, I got on Survivor because I was journaling my ass off and really thinking about myself in a dynamic way, because you have to talk about yourself. And when's the last time you talked about yourself for 3 minutes in a row and just try to talk up? It's just hard. It's just hard. And that's the same thing that happens in interviews. It's the same thing that happened at if you're interested in that, it's not cheap. I try and really transform your communication, but you can take a look over at shauhindavari.com. And if you're interested, shoot me an email. I'm putting together another cohort. It's very important that I put together a specific group of people I'm handpicking to help them transform their communication so that they can all kind of upgrade together. So if you're interested, it's going to start late January, early February. It's going to be an 8-week program. You can find it online. And also, if you just want to meet and talk about like maybe doing private coaching, that is on my website as well, shauhindavari.com. It's a 15-minute meeting where we figure out, okay, cool, is private coaching right for you? Is group coaching right for you? And we figure it out from there. And if you book that, then we book the actual thing. We take away the original booking fee.
Awesome. Well, everyone go check it out.
Yes, for
that
sure.
Sounds awesome.
A pleasure.
But thank you so much for joining me and talking about this
it.
episode. Everyone, make sure to tune into Stockwatch tomorrow on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And got something for you on Sunday at 5 p.m. with Sierra Wright from season 47. That's going to be a lot of fun. And remember to like and subscribe to Survivor Now on YouTube and Spotify. Follow us on Instagram at Survivor Now Podcast. And we will see you next week for the finale. Remember to stay social. Bye.